Big win right there. Ice Trae. You got ice in his veins. He living in that name.
Good. That's 6 right there. I want some more though. I really want some more.
Welcome in, Hawks fans. Your boy Bryce Lewis back at it again for another Believe in Hawks episode. The Hawks win an instant classic in Atlanta in overtime over the Los Angeles Lakers, 134-132, due to a Trae Young game-winning three to get them over the top and can extend the winning streak to 6 games. Hawks are on fire right now, and the vibes are immaculate. Thank you for tuning into another Believe in Hawks episode where we break down this wonderful win over the Lakers. Some things went really well, and obviously some things went bad. But at the end of the day, all that matters is the final score, and the Hawks were able to lead in that department. So we're going to break that all down on Believe in Hawks. Before we get into that, obviously follow me on Twitter at Bryce_2K for all my latest takes, updates, and information on the Atlanta Hawks. Then also, if this is your first time watching this podcast, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, or watch the podcast and hit the subscribe button and subscribe to the channel and like the video if you enjoyed it for sure. Leave comments down below on anything that we discuss in this podcast. If you want to give your opinion, I want to hear from you, and also to my audio listeners as well. Leave comments, leave a rating, leave a review on the pod, share it with your friends, let people know about Believe in Hawks. But as I mentioned, the Hawks played an overtime thriller against the LA Lakers tonight in a great win, 134-132, in a game that, you know, the Hawks are serious. The way they won this game tonight is really important. And the reason why is you took the Lakers' best shot when you got AD and LeBron both almost having 40 points. LeBron had 39, 10, and 11. He had almost a 40-point triple-double. Anthony Davis, 38 and 10. He almost had a triple-double. And you still win that game. The Hawks wouldn't have won this game. Honestly, they might have been blown out in years past in a game like this. But the fact they were able to weather the storm, weather those AD runs, weather those LeBron runs, weather them making big shots, and still keeping their foot on the gas, still making the crucial plays to win. And obviously, there were some calls. Officiating tonight was very questionable. This was not a great officiating performance, but I feel like we talk about it a lot in a lot of these NBA games, especially Hawks games. But to overcome all of that and to still beat the Lakers. And listen, I was worried about this game because I said, you have a team that's coming off a 41-point embarrassment. You don't think a team's going to respond or at least play better basketball the next game after that? So I knew for a fact the people who were thinking we should run LA out of the building, I was like, that's crazy. All right. I mean, that would be really, really bad for the Lakers if we ran them out of the building after just getting embarrassed against Miami. But so I knew this game was going to be competitive. I knew based off of matchups, AD usually has good games against the Hawks because the only big they really have that can defend him in some capacity is Capella. And that theory did prove true tonight for the most part. And then LeBron always has really good games against Atlanta. So it's like, it felt like this was going to be a good get-right game for them both, and it was. But the key for the Hawks in a situation like this, because this is like playoff level stuff. You going in the playoffs, you're going in these big games. Their stars are going to ball. How do you respond as a team? Do your stars respond? Because I said after that first half, I said, if the Hawks are going to win this game, they need Trae Young to be Trae Young. This is a game where we cannot get 18 points and 16 assists. We need 30 from Trae Young tonight, and he gave you 31 and 20 tonight. Big for Trae Young, including the game-winning three in overtime. Huge to get that from your star in a game that you needed it from them. And then let me go over let me go over all the possessions of overtime for the Atlanta Hawks. And let me tell you the impact Trae Young had, especially in that last period. Trae Young assists to Okongwu for 2 points. Trae Young assists to Hunter for 2 points. Trae Young 2. Trae Young 2. Trae Young assists to Dyson for 2 points. Jalen Johnson free throws and the Trae Young game-winning three. That's the impact Trae Young had on that overtime period. Basically involved in almost every single basket that was made for that team, outside of some free throws. And that was big. Trae Young also became the first player in franchise history tonight to have at least 30 points and 20 assists in a single game. He's the first player in NBA since 1979-80 to have 30 points, 20 assists while making 5 threes. So obviously Trae Young putting himself in historic company tonight. But obviously, again, impacting this game the way stars impact a game. So really, really big for the game tonight. And obviously, we also got to give love to DeAndre Hunter. DeAndre Hunter, man. DeAndre Hunter does it again. I mean, that man hit big shots in this game. Huge three at the end of the fourth. Man, getting into it with LeBron James and not backing down. Came out, still went right at the king. I mean, DeAndre Hunter's playing with different energy, different confidence. What my guy Glenn Willis said, that man went through a complete reboot this offseason, and he's showing it. He's showing it right now, and he has been so huge for the Hawks. This man is thoroughly in sixth man of the year running based off his play. And because you always say in games like this too, when you have like a 2 stars in the team and they go off, okay, let's say Trae get 30. Who gonna come with Trae? I always like to say, who gonna come with you? DeAndre Hunter came with him, 26 tonight. And honestly, this game was also indicative of what the Hawks have been tonight overall in this game. The Hawks bench outscored the Lakers bench by 48 tonight, 65-17 total, marking their largest positive point differential off the Bucks since 1993 against the Bucks in an April game where they were plus 55. So the Hawks bench continues to dominate teams, continues to be at a very high level, which has been very crucial to their success, right? And so the Hawks have really done a lot of good things. And this is also the 6-game winning streak is the longest active winning streak in the East right now, and the team's longest winning streak since the 2021-2022 season, where they won 7 straight games twice. And we obviously know what happened that year. So a lot of people are saying the vibes feel very similar to that year. Now, obviously, there's a lot of season left. We still haven't even gotten to Christmas yet, but it's really good to see the Hawks playing the way they are right now. And, you know, I think that chalks up to Quinn. Quinn has done a great job. You haven't heard a lot of Quinn slander during this win streak. That's why I always say when you're losing, everybody's going to question the coach, question the player, question Landry, question everything because you're losing. So you got to question something. But when you're winning, nobody questions anything. And so that's where the Hawks are right now. And like I said, this was a game tonight where I felt like the Hawks had some opportunities to kind of take control of this game. I felt like there were times where they were up 4 or 5 points in this game, and then their offense would go cold, especially in that first half. It felt like they would go cold, and that would allow the Lakers to kind of hang around and LeBron, AD make a couple of buckets, and then now they're kind of fighting and jostling back and forth with leads. Even in that second quarter, I mean, that second quarter was pretty much LeBron and AD. That was pretty much them. They kept the Lakers in that game. You know, the Lakers didn't really get a lot from a lot of other guys tonight, which, I mean, is obviously a good job for the Hawks to not allow other guys to get going when the 2 stars were going. But obviously that can obviously expand on their problems that they maybe have right now, especially in a game where you got, like I said, 2 very elite level performances from your 2 stars. But overall, I think the Hawks obviously were able to handle that. You know, in the third quarter, Trae Young woke up. I think he had 13 in the fourth. I mean, not the fourth, but the third quarter. So that was really big to get that from him. Jalen Johnson was dealing with foul trouble tonight, so that made it a tough night for him. And he had a rough night, but he still had plus 6 point differential when he was on the floor for the Hawks. And like I said, it was just a back and forth game. Back and forth game. And like I said, there were some calls. The Dyson LeBron block, I mean, usually you never see that call overturned. Usually when a guy blocks your shot, I know some people may say the referees were in the Lakers' pockets tonight because they're the team that the NBA wants to promote, so they may be more favorable to give them calls. You know, that one when Jalen drove to the rim to tie the game and they called a foul on a Okongwu, that was highly questionable. I mean, there's just a couple more calls that were not great, but also tonight there was also some possessions that the Hawks had down the stretch and certain possessions that were just not really good. Hawks had some very stagnant offense, just not getting good looks, forcing threes tonight. Obviously, the end of the fourth quarter, the Trae Young shot, a lot of people were not happy about that shot because you're seeing some of these great out of timeout play calls that Quinn can dial up in a regular situation, but in these late minute situations, he kind of just says, "Okay, Trae, do something," which again, I know people get pissed about it, and obviously it's not ideal. You would like to see our play ran, of course, but at the same time, a lot of teams do this. If you watch basketball, a lot of teams literally will just be like, give it to your star, let him take you home. And I think that's what Quinn does in that situation. He just says, Trae, take us home. Because I mean, Lakers would do the same thing. They'd be like, okay, LeBron, take us home. Suns, all right, you got multiple guys, take us home. Obviously, the thing is, you hope in that situation is that if Trae drives it or attacks, if he's not trying to settle for a three, that he's able to find the wide open guy or find maybe someone who can get a better look than him, and then that can create and generate good offense. But obviously, that didn't happen, and that's why they got into overtime after, like I said, DeAndre hit a big three right prior to that to even get the game up. I think Hawks by 2 before the Lakers tied it up. So, like I said, really good stuff tonight from the Hawks, man. Just really good basketball at a game where they competed against the best. They competed against the best, and they were able to come out with a victory. So that was obviously huge for them. Let's go into a couple of numbers for the game. Hawks shot 50% from the field, 52 for the Lakers tonight. So, I mean, both teams shot the ball well tonight overall. Hawks won the three-point battle by 1 basket, 17 threes to the Lakers 46. Both teams shot over 40% from 3. Hawks missed a couple at the line tonight, 17 of 22. Lakers missed 2 tonight. Hawks also lost the turnover battle, 17-13, but they won the assist battle. Hawks with 40 assists tonight. The continuation of Quinn ball remains alive as they continue to play really good team basketball. And obviously, Trae Young having half of those assists. They won the rebounding battle over the Lakers tonight, 48, 11 offensive rebounds. Hawks were able to take advantage of some second chance points against the Lakers tonight. Lakers clearly have an issue in the interior. If you watch my pod right before the game, when we brought a Lakers reporter on to preview the game, he talked about the interior was kind of an issue for them, and that Hawks were able to exploit that at times tonight for sure. Overall. So, like I said, Hawks, get like a really, really good win. Really, really good win against them and push the win streak to 6. So, everybody's feeling great right now, right? And the Hawks should be feeling great. Right now, we are technically on the destination to potentially have the Knicks and Hawks both coming into that game next week with winning streaks. If the Hawks can get past Denver, and I forget who the Knicks play, but I think they play someone Monday. I think it's the Spurs, but I could be wrong. And obviously that's big, because the Hawks right now are starting to gather some national attention. Some national outlets have been talking about the team, talking about Jalen, talking about the team seems to be playing defense. They seem to be making some noise. Obviously, when you play the Lakers, even though this wasn't a national televised game, Laker games get a lot of attention. So the fact that they were able to play this type of game against the Lakers tonight, obviously this team got a lot of exposure just from people who love the Lakers across the United States because they're such a big brand. And to see what happened tonight, I hope a lot of people came out of this game tonight realizing the Hawks are a serious team. The Hawks are definitely a serious team. And like I said, as long as they can stay healthy. And Trae Young said it after the game on NBA TV. He said, guys getting healthy. That was a big issue for the team, health. And then also being able to get cohesion, gel together, learn their roles, and play amongst each other. And it takes time. And sometimes it's not going to be pretty at first. That's just part of a grind. That's part of a season. That's part of what it is. But the Hawks are hitting their stride now. And Trae Young even mentioned it. Yeah, there's definitely some games that we thought we should have won. So now they're trying to take care of their business and take it one game at a time, which is the right approach to take in that situation. One interesting decision that Quinn made tonight was he started Vic Krejci over, or he didn't start Vic Krejci, but he played Vic Krejci over Kobe Buffkin tonight. And a lot of people were kind of confused by that decision. And at first, of course, I was just like, interesting. But my only perception of that is that in this type of game against the Lakers, one thing about them is they are like a bigger team. They're a bigger team, right? So I could see him thinking they needed his height in his versatility tonight. He probably looked at the Lakers matchup and said, I need more height and versatility. Because realistically, I think, you saw Vic Krejci, he can guard 1 through 3 pretty much. So I think they really valued that tonight, and they also believe that he could help. Obviously, Vic Krejci had 7 rebounds tonight, so he was helping out on the boards. 3 assists, 4 points. I mean, he was fine tonight. He wasn't like overly well, but like he definitely helped. But I also get why some people maybe wanted Kobe Buffkin in this situation. And listen, when you have depth like the Hawks do, these are going to be some games where Quinn has to make a decision and say, tonight's matchup, I think we should go with so-and-so over so-and-so. And I know some people may be confused by it because it's like, oh, yeah, Kobe, he's been doing all right. He's been doing well during the win streak. I can't wait to see him tonight. But I could just see him looking at it and thinking, this is a game for Vic Krejci. And so, I don't – now, obviously, if Vic plays the next game, then obviously we can ask more questions about, okay, is Kobe getting benched or something? But and Quinn did this, I think Quinn did this where he'll sometimes play a guy and you'll be like, wait, why is so-and-so playing? And you're like, and he's just like, we're just giving him a chance to play. And that could be what this is. He's just giving him a chance to play some backup point and kind of see how things go with that. So that's just a couple of things that I think about that situation with Kobe Buffkin and why he maybe didn't play and et cetera. So, I think something that maybe just something monitor going into the Denver game. But like I said, let's get into player performances. And let's start with DeAndre Hunter. DeAndre, 26, 3 and 2, 9 of 15 from the field, 5 of 7 from 3. He actually had a negative on the floor, but it felt like he was a positive, right? Like I said, Hunter's been such a revelation for this team. This DeAndre Hunter is the DeAndre Hunter that I think everybody wanted since he's been drafted. This DeAndre Hunter was the guy. But I think, Hunter's been through the journey. I think that the biggest thing you can do as a coach, regardless of who you draft, regardless of where they're selected, you have to know what their strengths are and how you should best use them amongst whatever version of the team you have. And you can make an argument that DeAndre Hunter has never been used correctly throughout his career. You can make that argument. You could just say that he's been asked to do things because he has the capability of doing some things, but then to the level of which they need it, maybe was too great of a demand or an ask. And so because of that, people would watch DeAndre Hunter and then think he's not doing those things, so he's not that good. But I said this last year that I think Jalen Johnson helped DeAndre Hunter because it helped. Because remember, DeAndre Hunter had really good stretches of play last year. And I think because it now stops, people have to stop saying that he has to be the wing for us to get to the next level, right? And then I think Quinn has found something with the way he plays. Obviously, with them wanting to shoot threes, they've worked on his three-point shot. He's been shooting really, really good from 3. And I think that has continued tonight where now DeAndre Hunter is able to kind of put it together. He's either – and I think Quinn has simplified the game. And listen, I'm not – Nate is on the Lakers coaching staff. And I said this. Nate was very unimaginative with his offense. He wasn't thinking, how can I get the best shots from my players? His offense was not, how can I best use this player so he can be the best he can be? It was figure it out. Trae Young, figure it out. Run the offense. Do something. Random play, as he said multiple times, right? Where Quinn actually is sitting here and saying, okay, what is Quinn's strength? What is Hunter's strengths? Okay, these are his strengths. What can we improve? We'll improve this. All right, now if we improve this and we use him to his strengths, what does that look like? And clearly they've simplified the game for Hunter where basically it's either you drive and attack because you're a big, strong guy. So if you have a mismatch, drive. And if you have and obviously remember DeAndre Hunter's dribble was one of his weak points. I have not heard a single person mention his dribble this entire season, and that's improved. And then you got the 3-point shot, and now it's like hit open threes and create. And Hunter has done that at the highest level. And DeAndre Hunter has been fantastic in that role. And so now you're seeing DeAndre basically keep getting 20, 20, 20, 20. Hawks are undefeated. I believe they're up to 8-0 now when DeAndre Hunter has 20 plus points. So clearly, like I've mentioned multiple times on the podcast, DeAndre Hunter is so valuable to this version of the Atlanta Hawks because of what he can do off the bench and continuing to add to that firepower off the bench. Last year, when the team was healthy, it was Bey, Bogey, Okongwu. Now it's Hunter, Bogey, Okongwu, and that is a much better 3 this year than it was last year. Right? So big game for DeAndre Hunter, man. Trae Young even mentioned in his presser, said, how about DeAndre Hunter? Man, give DeAndre Hunter his love, man. Give him his respect, because right now we would not be where we are right now without him. So big shout out to DeAndre Hunter. And then obviously Trae Young, we gotta get into the guy who won the game. 31, 4 and 20 tonight from Trae. And Trae, you know what's funny? When Trae was starting to make some shots, he kind of started reverting back to like the Trae Young of old. And it's funny that, we criticize that Trae, because at the same time, that same Trae Young is why we won game. Like Trae is kind of like a double-edged sword. He plays that way, but that could be the greatest thing to happen to you. And he'll take clutch shots and hit big shots, and you'll win games. But yes, there are also times where you'll be frustrated because you feel like, we wasted a possession there. He took a really bad shot there. He did not create the best opportunity there for the team, right? And I felt like when he started getting it going, you could kind of tell he was itching. He was wanting to start jacking shots up because he's like, maybe I'm back. I could start just shooting, because obviously he's one of those guys. And like any star would, you hit a couple of shots. You know what? Let me start pulling up and start, because sometimes you hot like that. And Trae was getting his rhythm back, right? And because we've been waiting for this offensive breakout game from him, and we just haven't gotten it yet. And we've been waiting on it, and we got it tonight, because they needed it. And so, he really did a good job tonight, and he got back to the formula I mentioned last game. He hits a few threes, he hits a few floaters, and he goes to the free throw line, and boom, 30 points. That man hit about 4 or 5 floaters tonight, went 8 of 8 from the free throw line, and then had about 9, and he had 5 threes. So he had 15 points off threes. So he had 8 points off free throws. That's 23. And then, so he had a couple of floaters tonight. Hit some floaters tonight. All right, so he had some floaters. That's how Trae usually gets his 30 points. Free throws, threes, and floaters. And he was able to get back tonight on that. And like I said, the Lakers made a terrible defensive decision. Gabe Vincent did when they in that last part of the game, and Hunter got the ball from Trae, and then he immediately went after Hunter, and then Trae was left wide open. And Trae knocking it down. Really, he's one of the guys that you always would say, like, why would you leave him open? And that was definitely a lapse of judgment defensively from the Lakers. But Trae made him pay, and like I said, it was really good to see Trae snap out of the offensive slump tonight and get the 30. So because obviously I know the system and the way they want to play is not designed for Trae to be doing that every game now, because they don't have to get that every game. But in games like this, like I said, when you have the stars of the other team playing well, you need Trae Young to be Trae Young. And the fact that you kind of showed you he can still give you 30. He's still giving you a ton of assists, leading the league in assists, and producing like he did tonight was huge. Dyson Daniels tonight, man. So Dyson, again, quiet offensive game. 11 points, right? Everything he does is quiet. 13, 11. That's what you expect from Dyson. 4 rebounds, 5 assists. Had a big steal late that it was one of those calls I talked about that was a little questionable. But whatever. I think Dyson, this was a game was interesting to me, because usually every game, because every team has them, you have these elite guards, right? And that's who Dyson really is his assignment. Tonight, the assignment, their most elite offensive talent wasn't a guard. It was their 4 and their 5, LeBron and AD. So that was at the beginning of the game, you clearly saw they weren't putting Dyson on LeBron, because, I mean, it's not still an ideal matchup, right? And you saw as the game went on, they kind of did it. But I think that, Dyson did a good job. I mean, he had a big 3 late in that game, huge 3 late in that game to help, I think, close the lead to 1. And so, Dyson, like I said, does all the little things: passes, rebounds, defends, creates steals, had 4 tonight, and still was able to give the team something. So big for Dyson. Bogey was huge off the bench. 20 points tonight. Really was attacking the Lakers off the dribble a lot tonight. He was also pulling up. Obviously, Bogey, when he hits threes, as he's the sharpshooter of the rotation, just helps create spacing, helps create just a different level of offense for this team. He was plus 18. He had the highest plus minus of anybody off the bench. God, I must be sorry. Highest plus minus out of anybody on the bench. And like I said, really did some good things tonight, really contributed. And, they talked about him kind of going through a shooting slump, kind of got out of it last game, came into this game. And like I said, those 20 points from Bogey, huge. Goes a part of that bench domination the Hawks you should honestly realistically expect from a game-to-game basis now. So Bogey was huge. Jalen Johnson tonight had 12, 10, and 7. Honestly, was his worst game in a while, but still, and obviously foul trouble played a big part in that. But also, he still had a double-double. 10 rebounds and 7 assists. So he was still impacting the game again in different ways, different situations. But, usually in this situation, you may think, okay, hey, Jalen, we need you to score 25 with Trae. Tonight, they didn't need that. And that's definitely good. And I think Jalen will be better in these types of games. Like I said, foul trouble affects you. Obviously, he has a tough matchup. He's going against AD and LeBron. Those are his matchups. Like, that's not an easy matchup for him. That's not. So, another growing experience for Jalen Johnson. Long season, young player. Like I said, he just continues to improve. You come back, you play Lakers one more time this year. All right, what can I do better to be more effective in that game that I wasn't when we were in Atlanta? So that's kind of how I view it up, and I'm not really too worried about Jalen Johnson from that perspective. Clint Capella tonight. Let me talk to you about Clint. You look at the stat line: 4 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. You think, what did Clint do, right? Clint did a great job on Anthony Davis tonight. Like Anthony Davis pretty much did his work when it was a Congo in the game, just because of the size, right? But when Clint was in the game, he defended. He defended. And he did a really good job on Anthony Davis tonight. And again, the reason why the Hawks will not move Clint Capella, to me, unless they get an equal type of center back with a better offensive game, is because when you play these elite bigs, you're too small with anybody else on your roster to move off of him and not have anybody else. You can't go to Nance because Nance is shorter than Okongwu. And Dominic Barlow's in the G League, and you probably don't maybe feel like he's ready clearly yet to be on the main NBA roster. But his defense, Clint's defense tonight, was a big part of why they won this game. Again, tough matchup. AD, tough matchup for any big. But he put in work tonight. And AD a lot, especially when Clint was in the game, I felt like was going for a lot of jumpers and a lot of floaters. He really wasn't attacking the basket when Clint was in the game. And I think that just shows a credit to Clint that even though it's not showing in the stat line, he still impacted this game. And so big kudos to Clint Capella. Okongwu had 15 and 6. So obviously Okongwu, again, offensively, he's preferred. Now, like I said, defensively, not ideal against Anthony Davis. But I will say, Okongwu did compete. He fought. He tried his best. I mean, that's all you can ask for from a guy like Okongwu. Just try to get under him, make it tough, and hope maybe he'll miss some shots. Obviously, the Hawks were helping a lot on AD in the post because of that. They were even helping with Capella. And, he fouled out tonight. Again, tough matchup. But I think Okongwu, man, he did what he had to tonight. You still got 15 and 6 from him. So 7-11 from the field. So I think Okongwu really did a good job tonight because obviously, and especially when they're doing the pick and roll and he rolls, when he can catch the ball, he's an effective finisher. You saw it multiple times tonight. Like they were able to take advantage of the Lakers in that pick and roll game and be able to get some easy looks with Okongwu underneath because of that. Zachary Shea, 11 points, 4 rebounds tonight. Played, I think, 15 minutes in the first 6 in the last, or 60 minutes in the first 6 in the last half. Again, this is a matchup where you play him based off how he plays. Obviously, again, this isn't ideal because, again, he's too skinny to really guard LeBron and AD, right? But he did hold his own. LeBron, there was one play LeBron drove on him, and he stood in there and he took it, hands up, and just kept defending. And that's all you can ask for from him. And it's funny because Quinn took him right out of the game. But because at the end of the day, it's like I said, this is a game where like Shea may not be that effective for the Hawks because he's going against guys he can't probably defend in terms of where his matchups are. Sure, yeah, he can defend D'Lo and those guys, but you got Dyson in them, so you need him to defend the wings, and that, like I said, this maybe wasn't an ideal matchup for him. But he still gave you 11 points, and like I said, Shea gives you sneaky points, good cutting under the rim, under the basket, some good drives tonight, hit a 3. Just he's giving you something, man. He is giving you something every time he's out there on the floor in some capacity. Zach's really making the most of his minutes. He's done a really good job of just making the most of the minutes that he is given. And I think that is something that's really important to kind of mention and, really give appreciation to because, it's like I said, some guys, especially when you're the first pick, people are expecting you to just drop 30, 40, 50 points. And that may not legitimately be your game. And so for him to be playing like that and doing that, I think has been really impressive and really good for him to be able to play the way he's been playing and still give the Hawks something, even if it's not these huge performances that maybe some people would like to see, but defending the ball really well, rebounding the ball, and like I said, creating easy opportunities and easy looks. Because he's a big part of why the Hawks have 40 assists, because a lot of his shots feels like comes off of assists, off of cutting, off of him moving without the ball and creating good looks for himself. So, with that, like I said, Hawks got a really good win tonight for sure. Hawks, their 6-game winning streak, play Sunday at 6 against the Denver Nuggets. Obviously, Denver, tough team. They'll be coming off a back-to-back, actually. They'll be playing the Wizards tomorrow. So it'll be the second out of a back-to-back. So we'll see how that looks for them. But, they have some injuries that they're dealing with. But the Hawks, obviously, right now are now up to 5th in the Eastern Conference right now as well. So really, really moving up the charts in the East as well, jumping Milwaukee. So, and then after that, you get ready for your knockout game against the Knicks at Madison Square Garden. So, Hawks, man, really big win tonight. Big win from Trae Young. Big shot from Trae Young tonight to win. Just so many. I mean, this was a back and forth game. I don't want to say playoff level, but like I said, you just took the Lakers' best shot and you beat them. Hawks wouldn't have won this game in the last couple of years. To take the Lakers' best shot tonight and beat them really shows you the growth this team has made under Quinn Snyder this season during this run, and so really big kudos, like I said, to Quinn, to the team to be doing what they've been doing. We'll have to see if this continues. This has been a very fun ride, obviously, so far early in the season. And looking forward to seeing what's next. Like I said, we have Denver on Sunday in Atlanta. So if the Hawks win that, they'll be going into 7 straight wins going into the New York game. And the Knicks also could be going in with a win streak of their own going into that game. And so now it'll be a battle of 2 teams whose fires are brighting are like lit up. And now who's going to be the first to extinguish the other's flame. So like I said, guys, really, really big win for the Hawks tonight. Let me know down below in the comments what you thought of tonight's win. What are some things that stood out to you? Obviously, like I said, guys, if you enjoyed this episode, subscribe to the YouTube channel, Bryce_2Ks, for more Believe in Hawks content. Also, they want any audio platform as well for podcasts. If you need to catch it going to work, on the road, in the bathroom, whatever you want to do with the pod, it's available for you to listen, to know what's going on for our Atlanta Hawks, to get these recaps. obviously try to break some guests on, preview some games, sometimes especially maybe some bigger games that we have coming up, and just, trying to give you the best coverage I can of our Atlanta Hawks. So like I said, guys, appreciate you guys tuning in to Believe in Hawks podcast. It's your boy Bryce Lewis. See you next time.